Oh man, I hate cutting off that sweet Mario Kart 8 lick, but we have a whole lot of other. I was about to say we got a whole other bunch of licking to do, but that's probably not accurate. All the same, we are here for this wonderful album that we've got filled with pride. And I am joined here by Jason, who is the producer on this one under Alan's GameGrooves consent and blessing. How are you doing tonight, Jason?
I'm doing great, Josh. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little tired to be honest, but yeah, we just finished up the Retro Gaming Expo on Saturday, and I was running around all weekend and absolutely pooped. But I
I
think that
feel
I'm
that.
gonna be super pumped by this hella sweet album. You've got like a ton of tracks on here. We've got 14 tracks. We've got a lot of amazing artists that have been on previous GameGrooves releases and some that I don't think I've seen before. So really looking forward to listening through it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your role and your experience in putting together this album for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was given the distinct honor of being the producer for this album. And it's my first major role outside of my band, the Limit Breakers. So for those that know me, I'm the band leader of the Limit Breakers band in Jacksonville, Florida. And we kind of had a little bit of an interim break where I was like, I can take on projects outside of the band and see where I was going. And then I guess Alan kind of got with me. He wanted to talk to me about something. I was like, "Oh no, am I in trouble?" But it really, what it turned up to be was he was like, "Hey, I really want you to be the producer on this album. I think this would be really great for the community, and I trust your ability to run things, and I want to see how that goes, and we'll see where we go from there." So it was my first time producing anything for Game Grooves, and I was both excited but also scared because it was like, how do I approach this role differently than being the band leader of a group? But
Mhm.
believe it or not, a lot of those skills transfer over, and I was very surprised. It was quite easy to just really fall into this role. But yeah, so the involvement really came from, I guess, Alan's desire to involve me with this, and he just kind of let me go with it, and it was really cool.
Right on. Well, I mean, like the timing of this album, of course, coming into June here with Pride Month and everything. But why specifically Undertale? How do those two blend in theme for you?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I am in one. I'm the camp of people that have never played Undertale, but through these amazing artists and groups, hold on a second. Through these amazing groups and artists, I've realized that this game is truly a wonderful game, and it has so much theme of acceptance and just love, and that is what we're about in this community, is love and acceptance at the very core. And so like this music, I find a lot of people are drawn to it because those two specific themes really just mesh together and just form this beautiful thing. And everybody involved with this project just really dug deep and really just like pushed their creativity, I think. It's really amazing to see from the start of this project to where we are now with this listening party. How much like diversity the music is. You're going to hear some metal tonight. You're going to hear like lo-fi kind of stuff. You're going to hear like ska. Like it's just a wide range of music, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Well, that was really beautifully put for somebody who has never played Undertale. Um, I do
I
hope
told
we
yeah.
have some people on the bill tonight that will have played Undertale. But
Oh, trust me, they have. I feel bad because I was the only person in the video that didn't, and I was like, oh no, I better make it up somehow.
Oh my gosh. Well, we've got a whole lot of music to listen to tonight. I would love to bring on our first guest to talk about the opening track for this album, and that is Ian Martin. Ian Martin, if you are ready to join us, let's get you in here. Ian Martin, multi-instrumentalist extraordinaire and collaborator with everybody. How you doing tonight, dude?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing great. You've got a ska cover of Asgore's theme here on the start of the album. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. I mean, I was coming down off of the high of arranging a couple of tracks for the Final Fantasy VII ska album that came out a few months ago. And I just wanted to continue that. And actually, it was like inspired by something that Jisun said in the Discord, which was basically, she didn't, because she was producing, she didn't really have time to arrange a track. And I was like, well, let me do something that involves Jisun. And so I was like, okay, well, ska has trumpet, so why not do that again? So and it worked. I just kind of like I'm already really familiar with the soundtrack, so I just kind of thought about it for a second and landed on Ascor. So
I think it's Asgore. Did I hear you say Asgore?
No, I thought I said Asgore.
You're gonna make Jason blush. Oh my gosh! All right, we're off to a great start. No. This definitely picks it up, so to speak, with the start of this album. But before we got into it, I just wanted to ask, like, what does pride mean to you? This album's about filled with pride. What does that mean for you, Ian?
It's really just about acceptance. It's being seen and being not afraid to show who you are. Or I guess not afraid, but being able to show who you are without fear of negative repercussions, right? So I think that as someone who played Undertale, that's really kind of like a central theme of that game is just being who you are and discovering who you are, and and promoting acceptance is another thing. So I think that's why it ties in well for this. But that's what I'd say pride means to me.
That's beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. Folks, we are going to get into this juicy album. We have 3 tracks coming up. They are Skazgore, the Asgore theme from Undertale, as performed by Ian Martin and co. We've got Fallen Down by Deontay George and Bone Trousel by Ray Music. And we're going to bring Deontay and Ray on during the next break to talk about those. So without any further ado, let's listen. Amazing tracks so far, everybody.
Yes.
I hope you're all loving it in chat. We've seen lots of enthusiasm. So we got to speak to Ian a little bit about his track, and now we've got Deontay. Deontay, how are you doing, man?
Doing pretty well. How about y'all?
Doing really good. Your track, Fallen Down, that one was amazing, dude. I love how you kind of like transitioned from that old honky tonky haunting piano style into something that was a bit of a chiptune bop. What was the inspiration for you to take the arrangement in that direction?
So when I first had the idea to arrange this, I decided to kind of go back into what was I doing when like Undertale came out, and around this time it came out. I think when I was like sophomore year in college, and around that time I was like I was kind of just more focusing on what I was listening to, and I was listening to a lot of Ivy Sora's the Black Box album. Like for those who don't know, Ivy Sora is like the group that composed Steven Universe and all that stuff.
Mm.
So like I was like, oh, I kind of want to. It sounds really cool if I take in like a digital fusion chiptune s kind of like route. So that's pretty much how I kind of approached it.
Oh, it's beautiful, and what a great effect that you gave with it too. Yeah, it fills me with pride. It doesn't make me feel like I've fallen down at all. It feels like I've been lifted up. Oh man! So Deontay, have you yourself played Undertale?
I have when it first came out. I will say when it first came out, I just watched the playthroughs, but then a friend like during college, like we both played it together,
Mm-hmm.
and like we ended up somehow beating it, even though we're very badly coordinated. So yeah.
Oh man! And you just played it through the one time?
Pacifist. The pacifist ending was enough for us.
Oh, nice! You did that first go. Good for you. I think I made a mistake on my first playthrough, and I'm not going to say it out loud so that I don't get a whole bunch of internet hate. But Deontay, I wanted to ask, what does pride mean to you, man?
I always kind of thought it meant being yourself. Kind of just also kind of about discovery, because like everything about pride is always going to be like it's always going to be kind of like a little bit fluid, but but all in all, it's just pretty much just being yourself.
Awesome, that's beautifully put. Well, we've got a lot of music and a lot of guests to get through, but thank you for breaking down Fallen Down for us a little bit. We're gonna get Ray Music on here, but thanks for joining us, Deontay. We'll
Thank
see
you.
you back at the end and see you in chat. All right, and joining us now, we've got Ray Music. Ray Music, you had that lovely, like symphony kind of like pizzicato arrangement of Bone Trousel. That was really
Mhm.
fun and whimsical. What was your inspiration for that arrangement?
Okay, so actually, this was my third attempt at doing an arrangement for Bone Trousel, and it never quite worked out. And then this album came around, and I just like pushed myself to finally do it. And I think I did pretty well. And I think what really worked for me is, well, the entire piece is kind of in a klezmer style, the original, and I wanted to step away from that and only like have that in the second half of the song. So that's when I added the clarinets and stuff, and that's why the entire first part of the song is actually mostly pizzicatos and short stuff, just to immediately get you in the vibe of, oh, okay, this is something different. So it was really fun to arrange, and of course, I had a lot of lovely collaborators who wanted to fill in some live parts for me, which I think brought the song to life, really.
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to shout out any of those collaborators?
Yeah, sure. So on flute and piccolo, we've got Gamer of the Winds. On bassoon, we've
Hey.
got Amelia Myers. On English horn, we've got Eddie the oboist. On oboe, we've got Phoenix Down. And finally, on violin, I asked Nico Mendoza.
Wow. Yeah. That's a solid list right there. That's like your tier list. You got the entire A rank.
Phoenix Sound is a sick name. I approve.
Yes, absolutely. And Ray, have you played Undertale before?
I sure have not. No.
Oh no.
I sorry. I've started it. Does that count? I think I've played it for like 10 minutes. Then I got bored. No, I didn't get bored. I probably had something better to do. No, it's on my list. It's on my ever-growing list of games I still need to play
Same,
because
Ray. Same.
I know it's a good game. Like, people have told me it's a great game. I just need to make some time to actually play it.
Well, it doesn't take too much time, honestly.
I've been told.
but it is worth it if I can encourage you to bump it up a little bit on that backlog. Especially like after today with this wonderful music. I mean, how can you not want to go and experience that for the original art that it is? And lastly, Ray, before we move on, I just wanted to ask you what pride means for you.
For me, it's mostly about being yourself, and maybe more specifically, also allowing yourself to be yourself. I think pride is this entire journey of self-discovery, and I think like letting others. It's not just about like acceptance; it's also just about self-discovery, and I feel like that's where it starts. And of course, acceptance is a big part of it. But for me, the most important part of pride is being at odds with yourself.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing that, Ray. And thank you for your amazing rendition of Bonnet Traus. We're making all kinds of jokes backstage about the proper pronunciation, folks. So if you have something that you'd like to say about that, definitely drop that in chat. But yeah, thanks so much, Ray. We'll catch up with you later.
Awesome.
All right. Jason, how you doing so far? I mean, you're the producer. What do you feel? What are your thoughts on the first 3 tracks here?
Well, I'm doing great. You guys are keeping me entertained. It's great vibes in the chat. Everybody is loving it so far, and personally, I love it too. I think Skarsgård was a great way to kick off the entire album, and then we got this just sudden drop in like energy, but it's still like this good vibe with Deontay George's piece, which was awesome. And then Ray Music just kind of brings us back up with his orchestral version of Bone Trousel, and it just really just highlights, like I was saying, all those different genres just kind of coming right at you and dropping you into a new style, and it's refreshing.
Well, and as a producer, I have to ask, did you have a hand in the track order?
I did a little bit, yes. The whole process, like for things that Alan normally would do, he would consult with me and we would work together as a team to kind of come together with the track order. But when he presented this to me, I was like, wow, this is kind of like very similar to what I would have done. And we just kind of went with it. And I think it works.
Beautiful. All right. Alan did a good job and got Jason's thumb of approval.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on. Oh, all right. Well, that's what he needed anyways.
Yes.
So coming up in our next block here, we got a couple of videos. I love it when people bring their video capturing, editing, goofy skills to this. It just adds so much more to these parties. But yeah, coming up next, we've got tracks from Byscore, Vron Media, and Gator Tots. We've got the dummy theme. Byscore calls it Dummy Thick.
Yep.
Vron Media has a cover of It's Raining Somewhere Else, and Gator Tots does a really cool thing with Snowden Town. So I think if we're all ready to go, then let's
listen.
simply lovely. I am joined now by Ian and Carrie from BuyScore.
Wait a second.
Carrie, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you
Awesome.
doing?
I'm good. And how about yourself, Ian? You just gonna leave me hanging? You're just gonna leave me hanging?
First,
Josh, there's two Ians. You gotta address them.
you have to address us by thing one or thing two.
I just see one Ian, the Ian from BuyScore. They were in the video.
Yeah,
there was two Ians.
Yeah. So hey, it's going great. Ian Martin, how are you?
I'm doing well, Ian Cowell. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Oh my god, we're getting some really good Ian puns in the chat.
Okay.
You two individual people put together a awesome little video and arrangement for the Dummy theme, which is one of my personal faves from that soundtrack. Tell us a little bit about your approach to this arrangement.
Sure. So I did the arranging on this. This was actually it ended up being the first BuyScore tune that was like finished and recorded. BuyScore being me and Ian Cowell, and we were fortunate enough to feature Mr. Ian Martin on this as well. But I had originally like my first sort of stab at arranging this was to like try and slow it down and almost turned it into like a lounge style jazz piece, and it almost felt too slow because like the original track is pretty quick. It's like 220 something, and I had sort of cut that in half and I was like, it's too slow, it's dragging a lot, so I sped it back up and I basically determined who I wanted to work with, which was, you know, the other half of BuyScore plus Ian Martin, Jisoo, and Andy Wade on drums, who people probably have no idea who that is. He's actually one of my coworkers in my day job. So I'm really lucky to like be in a marketing department with a really good session drummer.
Nice.
Really good.
But I sped it back up and sort of arranged to the people that I wanted to work with who had agreed to work with me on this. And it sort of turned into, it sounds like the band wants to fight you, I think. I'm really happy with how it landed. Ian Cowell did the mixing on this, and yeah, and he nailed it because I don't know what I'm doing with mixing. I can arrange all day long, and I basically just sent him stems and I was like, can you make this sound good? And he did. So
right on, Ian. What's your secret to a sweet mix?
You know, Josh, I'm glad you asked that question. I both have listened to music for a long time, so I like to think of myself as a little bit of a tastemaker, and that I know if it sounds bad, and then I know when it sounds less bad. So what you do is you take the track and it starts to sound okay, and then you start to make it sound better, you know, bit by bit. That's it. You know, you don't need any Udemy courses or any type of, you know, crazy thing to learn how to mix. You just put compression on everything. Mm-hmm. You leave all the low end and you squash it, and you buy an Ozone license, and that's it. That's a song right there.
You heard it from the pro here, folks. All right, and Carrie and Ian, have you both played Undertale?
yes.
Awesome. All right.
Just like the Pizza Tower release.
Yeah, exactly. Just like
good. I know I can count on you two to play the games that you're making music from.
Not always.
Why do I feel added? Stop.
It's okay. You know, we were discussing about how to make up for it, we're going to do a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 album, since I don't think either of us have played
Neither
that.
of us have played that game.
Oh my god, bit of a sidetrack. Playing at a show, and like some Albertans had just like showed up, and our set had ended. By the way, for those who aren't familiar with Canada, Alberta is basically like Midwest for Canada. But like I was telling them, oh, you guys just missed a really good set. We were playing video game music, and he's like, video game? What music? What is that? And I was like, oh, well, like, you know, name a video game that you like music from. He's like, Call of Duty. Like, well, no, try another one, like Assassin's Creed. what? And he's like, Gears of War. I'm like, okay, this guy doesn't like video games. He just likes to kill things. But anyways, just name it like a favorite moment in Undertale. What was something that really stuck out or meant something to you?
For me, it's the Metaton fight. I'm a big fan of Metaton as a character. As you may have seen in the Meet the Artist video, Death by Glamour is actually my favorite track from the game. And yeah, that's it for me.
Nice. Ian, either of you?
I mean, it kind of sucks that the other half of my score took the same thing I was gonna say, so I'll have what she's having.
This is
Great.
why we're in a band together.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
The
Wow.
irony is that my favorite track is the track that they invited me to play on. I love Nafstabluk, you know? Like, it's my favorite off the album.
That's definitely beautiful. Ian Martin, anything to add about this track and your contribution?
Well, I know this wasn't the first by score track that was released, but it's like an honor to be on the first by score track that was, I guess, recorded or produced, right? So that's awesome. If you haven't checked out by score, like their other stuff, you should. That's to chat, obviously. I'm not talking to the people in by score.
Oh yeah. Yes, thank you by score for also having me on as well.
We got big things on the horizon, and by on the horizon I mean like 2 weeks from now that we really need to finish.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, before we let you go, Ian Cowell, do you want to speak to what pride means to you?
This is a really cliched thing to say within corporate America, but I think it stems from a very real place before it was co-opted. I think that, at least for me, pride it comes down to living as your authentic self, right? And being able to communicate what it is that makes you who you are. And, I know that for myself, for many years, it was really hard being in the community I grew up in to say that, I was bisexual and that I also was attracted to men. And I found many ways to not face things that I didn't feel brave enough to talk about until much later in life. And I think pride is a very important reminder of the fact that there are, as wonderful and individual as each of us is, we all share a lot. And whether that's through, having a hard time putting this in the words, things we're celebrating or, shared pain or traumas. But I think that pride is a time for you. It's not just a month, and it's not just an aesthetic. It's getting to be truly who you are and being able to be happy with that and content with that and not feel like you have to hide a part of that, but also being able to do it on your own terms. And that's important too.
Right on, man. Carrie, what does pride mean to you?
I have nothing more to add to that. I just think girls are cute.
You're basically like, I'll have what he's having.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just going to co-sign that and say girls are cute.
Hard agree.
Oh, that's beautiful. All right.
I do want to date the new Ganondorf. I just want to say that, like, if he was not fictitious,
yeah,
he's quite delicious.
Yes.
Yeah. He could crush somebody. Anyways, we're gonna move on. We've got Vron to interview, but Ian and Carrie, thank you so much for sharing about your tracks. We'll see you in a little while here.
See ya.
See ya. Oh my god, that was really bad. We've got Vron here. What's going on, Vron? Nice to have you back on the show.
Hello. Good to be back.
Awesome. It's raining somewhere else. You said there near the end, yes, you multi-tracked your Rainmaker. Such an awesome collection of percussion in that arrangement. Really well done and very beautiful, very soothing. What was your approach to doing It's Raining Somewhere Else?
Thank you. When Alan first announced the album, my first thought was, okay, what Undertale tracks have I not covered yet? So I was like going down the list frantically, trying to refresh my memory of what was what. And then I heard It's Raining Somewhere Else, and I heard the vibes, and I was like, oh, that's the one. I got to play that vibe part.
Nice.
And funny enough, I listened to the original, and it kind of sounds like the chords are on a separate track from the melody, like it's 2 different tracks. But I combined it into one part because why not? It was fun to play.
Nice.
And
That's pretty badass.
thank you. And I know the original has upright bass, but I wanted to include my dad on the arrangement, and he has electric bass. So I was like, screw it, I'm gonna do electric bass instead. And he puts up with my nonsense, which is cool. So then I added in some drum set, made it a little bit heavier, but not too heavy, still pretty light.
Yeah, and you know, awesome to have him on the video as well. And just like so sweet. Yeah, and I assume if you've played so many of those songs off the Undertale soundtrack that you have also played the game.
I have not.
All right, Jason, you've got somebody to commiserate with. Yay!
Veronica, join my party.
So technically, I played it for about 30 minutes one day, but I didn't know what I was doing. And I didn't know about the different routes. So I was just walking around the room, killing things, and I was like, why is nothing happening? And then I got bored. And obviously, that's not the way you play Undertale. So, yeah. I have played Deltarune, though, Chapter 1 and 2.
Oh, nice. Well, I mean, those are good on their own, but yeah, there's definitely like a lot of lore to be gained from the first game. So yeah, huge encouragement for you to go and play that. Maybe even immediately after this this listening party. Who knows? You could even listen to it again if you want to not hear any of the original music.
I just might play it again.
You can just insert your own covers. You've got the whole soundtrack just redone, so you can just listen to yourself while you play Undertale.
That's amazing.
Oh my gosh! And Viron, what does pride mean for you?
I think for me, it's pretty much just being allowed to exist as a human and be who you are. I've got my flag neatly balanced on my dad's trombones back here. A lot of growing up, people started having these feelings, and I was like, what's wrong with all of you? I don't feel those things. And I realized, it's me that doesn't feel the things. Oh, I'm the weird one. But just being allowed to exist. And that's pretty much it.
Absolutely.
I'm very thankful that both my parents are supportive. They've never asked for kids, always been supportive, just very thankful for it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, I think that the VGM community is better that you exist. So thank you for sharing that and for sharing all of your wonderful music with us. That means a lot.
Very thankful to have such an accepting community to be a part of.
Definitely. I think VGM, like, you know, is very... They're concurrent, you know, like they kind of like run in parallel with a lot of pride and a lot of acceptance and stuff like that. So, yeah. Oh man, just getting all the feels here. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Viron. I think we're going to see you later on in some of the other arrangements, if I'm not mistaken. But so wonderful. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. We're gonna get going here, but we'll catch up with you a little bit later. All right. Yeah, we've got another block. How are you doing, Jason?
I am doing great. This chat is so unhinged, but I love it. Keep it up, y'all. Keep it up.
Yes, please do. Put all of your hearts and everything in chat because
Duval
coming up
in the chat. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, Duval.
Kent. Thanks, Kent.
Yeah, hi Kent. Oh wow. Yeah, well, put all your hearts in chat because coming up next we've got an arrangement of Heartache. This is by Caitlin Ayala. Ayala. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And that one's a video. Actually, I'm pretty sure Viron is in that one like immediately. And then we're going to be hearing that Death by Glamour track by Na Tony and Dating Start by Cade Kalka. So, Jason,
let's
listen. Oh my god. This is absolutely lovely. Yeah, just like the breadth of variety of diversity in the styles and the instrumentation. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less from a GameGrooves album, but just like for something that's filled with pride, it just seems all the more apt. Yeah, Jason, we're halfway through. We're more than halfway through this album so far. Yeah, like what was it like for you, just kind of like bringing all of the elements together as a producer for the first time? Like you talked a little bit about how a band leading position kind of made you almost ready for it, but what was it really like to be like, okay, well, now I'm just like doing logistics mostly? What was that switch like for you?
Yeah, it was a bit of an adjustment, but Alan actually made it pretty easy for me because he kind of walked me through, his expectations for me, but also just did it in a way that was like kind of gentle. Like he's kind of like this big teddy bear, you know him. He
Yeah,
he just really is so helpful and wants you to be successful. So he sets you up for success, and it just really made the process very easy.
definitely. And the other thing that's tricky to do with an album where you have so many collaborators, so many different styles and stuff like that is like the sound production. At the end of the day, somebody has to sit down with all of these different tracks and glue them together in some kind of way with EQs and everything like that. Who do we have to credit for doing that job on this huge album?
So all the artists and groups actually mix their own tracks, and then what happens is we send it to our mastering engineer, who actually has decided to go anonymous this
Ooh.
time, because as they put it, they are non-bi POC, non-gay, non-pride community person, but they are an ally, and they wanted to keep the focus purely on the artists and the groups, and which I respected that decision, and both Alan and I agreed that that was the way to go.
All right. Wow. Awesome. Well, good job, anonymous mastering engineer. Yeah, you did a really good job tying this all together.
Thank
And
you.
I understand it from Alan that there is a bit of a special story behind the album art as well. Is that correct?
That is correct. So we actually went through about, I want to say, two different iterations of the album art. Um, we started off with a sketch by the way, Daniel Kazar. I want to thank Zem so much for doing this art for us. But the sketch originally had that "Filled with Pride" logo in the bottom right corner. And it was kind of like this, like sketched out, kind of hand drawn method, which was cool. And then there was also like the heart was like several hearts, like kind of in a comet kind of shape looking thing. And originally I liked that, but then we were like, that might be a little distracting. Perhaps we pull inspiration from the original Undertale cover. And so that's when we finally came with, oh, let's use the pride flag inside the heart, and have the original uh, the text for Undertale be used as the text for the bottom and there, and then the name "Filled with Pride." We actually had a longer name. It was originally "You Are Filled with Pride," but we were like, that's kind of long, so let's shorten it up to "Filled with Pride."
Hmm. No, it's beautiful, and like it delivers all of the messages that it needs to. It's Undertale, it's Pride, it's about love and acceptance.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's really all it needs to be. Although when you say something like a complex design with like a bunch of hearts and like a comet, as somebody who hasn't played Undertale, you might not understand that is very reminiscent of the battle styles in the boss things and stuff like that.
Yes.
But
Yeah, that's originally what I thought too, because I did do my homework on it, right? Like
okay,
I've never
okay.
played the game, but I do my homework,
You
and
looked up some love some playthroughs.
I promise I will play the game, chat.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, we were going back and forth with Daniel, and we settled on what we have now, and we I think it really ties in all of the community and represents everyone, and leaves no one out in this art.
Oh, you've got Joss there making a promise. Thank you so much, Joss, for your support. We appreciate all the hard work you're doing.
Yes, she will make sure I play it.
Oh man. Oh, thanks for pinning that, Papa Hoodwinker. Oh my God. All right. Oh well, we've got a few more tracks to get through here. We've got 5 more to listen through. We've got one more block here where we're going to listen to "Spear of Justice" by the Noble Demon. We've got "Quiet Water," a video accompanying that by Saya Sounds, and then another video as well by Claymore Katie Scary covering "Battle with a True Hero." So I think I'm ready. Jason, do you want to say it? Say the bit.
Yeah, let's
Listen. Wow, thanks for that YouTube stinger, Katie, and an incredible arrangement as well. We are joined now by Saya Sound. Saya, how you doing?
I am doing well. I have a bit of a cough, just been kind of getting over some bronchitis that knocked me out through a lot of last week.
Wow. Okay. Well, no worries. Your track sounded sick as well. We had the arrangement of Quiet Water with a lo-fi twist to it, dude. That was a real zone to take us to, sandwiched in between those two metal tracks.
Right?
Yeah. Why did you put Quiet Water into a lo-fi style? What was the idea behind that?
Well, so first off, the reason that I chose Quiet Water was because I am very indecisive and I couldn't decide what I wanted, and time was running out, and everything was being taken. It's like, fine, I'll just do this because I have no idea. Lo-fi just, I don't know, it felt right. I had been kind of just in a lo-fi mood at the point. And I didn't want to feel like I was like, this is just the safe route, but it's just, I don't know, it's like the first thing that really came to mind. And so I figured, like, let's just take what already exists and keep that, because I didn't realize, like, how short the song actually was. But I wanted to kind of build upon that, add, like, a little extra piano part. So I just kind of started noodling around, and it's like, well, this sounds good enough. And there you go.
Right on. All right, folks. If you want to arrange lo-fi, there you go. Just get a little bit of bronchitis and
Yep.
Oh no.
Oh my god. Have you played Undertale yourself, Saya?
I did, although it took me a long time because I played it originally a little bit back in 2015, and then I got up to Metaton Fight and got my butt kicked, and then was like never again. And so then years passed, and my D&D group at the time was talking about Deltarune, and so I was starting to feel that FOMO, and it's like, okay, fine, I'll play Undertale. So I just kind of locked myself in my room and blazed through it beginning to end. Normal route, pacifist route, will not touch the other route to this day. And then immediately start on Deltarune. It's like, man, I see what this is all about now. It's good.
Yeah, it's really good, and having that not to call out anybody VRON Media, but to play Undertale before having the Deltarune experience really just makes it a very rich time. Yeah, dude, and that video you said you hadn't like seen it before. It was kind of like rushed just in time so that I could host it on the show here today. But yeah, who helped you out with that?
So I want to give a shout out to, I believe she is in chat, but Lindsay Liu, who has been my video editor ever since, 20, like kind of mid 2021, just around the time that I joined GameGrooves. And she has been an absolute help, just an absolute blessing to have for anything, just because, I'll just be like, oh, hey, by the way, I have no concept of time management. Can we get something like right before this when we only have a few days, please? And, she does it.
Right on. Yeah, it very much followed the vibe of the lo-fi arrangement. It was just it was a really nice accent. And lastly, Saya, what does pride mean for you?
So, okay, this is kind of interesting because this is a question I've not really had much time to think about. My journey with pride is, okay, so for one thing, I'm 38, and I only really came out finally on my 38th birthday, just a few months ago. I grew up thinking for a long time thinking like, I'm straight. That's all there is to it. Then as time went on, like I started thinking, I'm straight with an asterisk. And as somebody very special pointed out to me recently, it's like, as soon as there's an asterisk, like, no, you're not. And just, I don't know. It's, for me, I think everyone else who's been asked has said pretty much the same thing. It's about being able to come to terms with yourself. It's about being able to express yourself. It's about not being afraid of who you are, of being able to experiment, of being able to accept also that what you may be now is still very subject to change. Everything, I find that everything is very fluid. There's nothing that's really going to be set in stone. And I guess a message that I have to people as probably about the resident boomer in this group of people for this album is that it is never too late to learn more about yourself in many different ways.
Wow. That's beautiful. And thinking about the title of your track, Quiet Water, you have that that surface of reflection to see yourself clearly, and that's yeah, just couldn't pass that up. But thank you so much for sharing that and your music and video with us, Saya.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll catch you at the end.
Yeah.
Right on. Jason, we just got a couple more tracks on this album. Can we get people to ask the streamer in chat, please? Because our next track is one of the most famous Undertale tracks ever. And to end off this album, we've got Undertale Act 1 by Lucas Guimaraes. Yeah, there come the streamers. Streamers, please. Okay, yes, thank you, everybody. You heard of this track. Oh my
Yep.
god, here it comes. Yeah, but of course we're going to be listening to Megalovania up next. Jason, do you want to kick us off here?
Let's.
Oh, well, let's get a raid from Saxpon. Oh my god. Friends right raid from the cabaret. Thank you, GameGrooves. Oh yes, awesome. Oh, everyone is here just in time for the most hyped track on this album. I'm sorry you're so late. We're near the end of this album, but if you're new here to the channel, welcome. My name is Josh. This is Bonus Stage, where we support the video game and nerd music scene. Tonight we're having a listening party, as you may know, for GameGrooves' Filled with Pride album. And I'm here with Jason from The Limit Breakers, also producer of this album. But we were just about to say,
Let's. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry.
And wow, absolutely beautiful. Megalovania and the Undertale, Act 1, also known as Undertale, the theme from Undertale. And here to talk about Undertale, we've got our favorite GameGrooves arranger, Lucas Guimaraes. How you doing, Lucas?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good tonight, Josh.
That's good to hear. That's great to hear. You have fooled us again. This Undertale arrangement is 100% your own doing. No collaborators to speak of. Is that correct?
That is correct. There are no Well, do you count Splice as a collaborator? Because I did use a lot of Splice sounds.
Oh man. Well,
But
if
they were like
software was
chopped
giving
and
you a lot of
everything.
input and creative direction, then
Yeah, like thank you, Splice. Like my solo producing, whenever it's like electronic, my solo producing blessing and also curse, because sometimes it's like, everything's going really smoothly. I know exactly what I'm gonna pick, and then another time it's like, oh shoot, are you just telling me I've spent a 1 hour searching for the perfect yeah, and I'm like, I could have just recorded that myself. Why didn't I just record that myself?
you have a microphone in front of you.
I
with
have a
soft
microphone.
filter.
I actually do sing. I play a bunch of instruments. I just focus on sax these days because it's just mostly more fun. Yeah, there was funny enough, this is like this it's been a constant trend on albums where I record. This isn't even the first album this has happened on, because this happened on the OC Remix Final Fantasy VIII album. I recorded sax for Ian Martin, but there's no sax on my track. There originally was sax, but I removed it because it just was not fitting the vibe of the song. And then again, I had that happen on the FF8 album where I did like 3 or 4 different collabs, and almost all of them were sax, and there are no sax on my tracks.
No
Of
sax
none of
on your
my
track.
sax. But yeah, so this track.
This track, yeah.
This track. What
How
went
did
through
you
my
arrange it?
mind?
Why did you arrange it the way you arranged it? How and why?
So I've kind of had the idea baking in for a while, but kind of not. I knew that this was because this was a Pride album and because this was Undertale. I also have a bunch of piano-only arrangements of Undertale boss themes that I still need to finish. Someone needs to hold me to that.
Look at you!
But
Look at you
that
using that
said,
microphone. Yeah.
yeah, using my microphone. Maybe I just need to use it to record sounds more instead of wasting my time searching splice. But this was so it's kind of Undertale is kind of like this huge song, and Undertale has these themes of piano exploration. I mean, not piano exploration. Sorry, someone just sent me a message about my ragtime, so I just thought about that. About queer exploration, and one of my favorite albums, probably still one of my favorites, but it's my favorite Sufjan Stevens album, Age of Ads. Impossible Soul is this huge, long, kind of queer epic. And so I had the idea to kind of like combine the vibes of that with Undertale. And originally, the reason it's called Act One is it originally was going to be 5 acts, and I just did not have the time to do the other 4. So I guess it's going to be one of those Dream Theater situations where there's Dream Theater Metropolis Part 1, and then they requested Part 2 forever. So feel free to hit me up about that. And with this, I think the moment, like, I didn't know for sure kind of the tone and approach, because with a One-Winged Angel, I definitely had that bit planned months in advance. And even with my internet out, I improvised the rest of it. With this, I knew it had to be genuine, because the thing that I don't hear enough with Pride Month is being queer is kind of hard. And like, I'm dead serious about this. I know there was like a laugh. I know the way I just executed that was funny, but the punchline, well, not really punchline. How I knew I was going to approach this on the bonus stage stream was, I had this situation a couple of months back where I was just going to a Target, and this dude straight up was. I'm going to just summarize. This is the first time I'm telling the story publicly, and aside from the GameGrooves queer chat, I've talked about this only with like 3 people. There was a guy who was trying to rob me and ran past at me for about 3 blocks. And I was scared shitless for my life. And he did not know I was queer, but I have never heard so many queer slurs uttered in my life at once. And that is one of the most horrifying experiences I had of my life. And I knew the tone I had to have. I know there's been, and Pride is absolutely about queer exploration. It is 100% about that. But if there's one message I want to send people about Pride, it's that let's keep uniting fellow queers and let's do the best we can to stop less queer infighting, more queer unity.
Mm-hmm.
And
Can't agree more.
a little bit more, just a little bit more. I did, so this was after I'd done the track and it was sent off to mastering, yada, yada, yada. But afterwards, one impactful show, because a lot of the tracks I do, they're very much like, gotta complete a deadline, gotta do something, gotta do this track. Like even Pizza Tower was a very good example where like, I gotta do this. And then I recently had a track that was shown off at bonus stage, but I was unfortunately too tired to make it to the stream. It was a dearly beloved free jazz. And what was going on through my mind is I want to see if I can get a free jazz arrangement going in like one room and just record it at VGM.
Yeah.
To do that, I have no idea how we did that. But for this, it was very genuine one. And I'm like, is this the first video game arrangement that I did that like is purely just because I wanted to do something genuine from just like something that was, I don't want to say like my other songs haven't been authentic takes because most of them really have, but this is like the first one that's like pure my goal is just to inject this emotion. And one so this concert happened after, it was a room party concert, so it wasn't at any of the VGM cons, but yeah, it was at a different convention. And one thing I experienced that was just really powerful and that reminded me to create not just that like music that appeals to everyone, but that music that's a little bit more like just, and for me, and it's cool if other people enjoy it, is that this one concert, it was just drone music, and it was really, really good performance. I'd never heard, I've heard drone music before, like Suno and stuff like that, but like I'd never heard it like live. And one of the things that was really impactful was it was about Southern trauma in the Bible Belt. And they had a bunch through almost the entire thing up until the bassist literally ripped all his strings apart at once, a televangelist speaking in the background from it. And that shit just, it was so relieved, like there was so much like tension and then release afterwards. And the release from that, it's been months and I'm still thinking, like it's been 2 months and I'm still thinking about that show. And as someone that, especially for me, like I know a lot of my friends didn't, but I straight up grew up in the Bible Belt. So I have a ton of queer trauma, and it's hardly why, like as a pan-romantic ace, I hardly come out about my queer trauma, but there is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to convey at least some of that through this song, and I think I managed to do that.
I think so too. Wow, dude! Thank you so much for sharing that and for feeling safe to do so on bonus stage. That means a lot. Well, you've spoken to what Pride means to you, what the song was like for you. I got to ask: have you played Undertale?
I've played Undertale. I'm sorry, everyone. I did indeed kill Sans, and I would do it again!
He was creepy. He's a creepy guy.
Hell yeah! Look, he won Tumblr's sexy man poll. He can't win everything.
Well, I'm glad that we had one more person on this show that played Undertale. That means a lot. Apart from killing Sans, any other any special moments in that game?
Excuse me, I must get something very stupid out.
Okay. Oh gosh, I think we've got another one of Lucas's bits incoming.
Look at all those instruments. My goodness.
Yeah.
Love it.
And they're like right there, like next to the microphone too.
For real, though.
So I was at the convention I was at was a furry convention, and I bought I instead bought a collar that was fursuit sized.
Oh, it's amazing.
This is like, by the way, so it's been publicly known that I'm ace. This is the first time I've ever publicly said that I'm panromantic. So it's been very much known amongst a bunch of people privately, but this is the first time publicly. I'm not super public about it because I don't like to talk about Southern Bible Belt trauma and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, I've honestly got nothing else. I could probably, if anyone's curious about the production or anything else of the song, hit me up. And if anyone please do bug me if you actually want to see me make the rest of the story I had kind of planned out for this arrangement, because I straight up have a arrangement I finished for Dwelling to Duels like 2 months ago, that or like 3, that was literally influenced by this one OC remix comment that someone put on one of my songs. So I really do appreciate comments. Yeah.
Well, here they come. Yeah, definitely. Chat's gonna be milking you for that.
I
Awesome.
love you, chat. GameGrooves and GameGrooves for life. Link 182 shirt. That's one album I'm not on, but y'all should pick up some Link 182. Pick up some other GameGrooves albums. Bandcamp Friday coming out on August, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, actually, I forgot completely to even get the link for this album. Jason, where is this album available?
This album is actually not on Bandcamp, unfortunately, but it is everywhere you probably digitally stream. There's a song whip link. Somebody please help me with that, because I did not copy and paste that. Wait, hang on a second. I might actually have it.
Not if I have it first.
Oh, you beat me.
There it is, folks. Everyone in chat, go check out the GameGrooves Filled with Pride, an LGBTQ plus tribute to Undertale. You've got it there on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Deezer, Quobuzz, and Napster. Oh man, I'm so happy Napster is still alive and pissing off Metallica.
Yeah. And super important, every album purchase, those donos go straight to Equality Florida, which is an organization that helps fight the LGBTQ plus injustices here in the state of Florida, where I live. And so you'd be helping out my community greatly by doing so.
Awesome, folks. Well, there's all the incentive you need. Please go and listen to those. Is it set to release later on Bandcamp, or is that just kind of a no-go with this release?
It is currently a no-go. I don't know if we could maybe set up hey, if you want it on Bandcamp, you'll have to dono to help bring it to Bandcamp type thing. But we'll talk. Me and Alan will talk, and we'll see what we can do. But for now, it's digital, and you have all access to it there on Spotify and everywhere you pick up your music from.
Awesome, folks. Well, there it is. And just to finish off the show here, I think I'm going to start bringing in all of the rest of the guests that we've had on the show here. Just to say goodbye and say goodnight. Folks, thanks for tuning in to Let's Listen here on Bonus Stage. Thank you to all of our wonderful artists and everyone in chat showing your support. What's coming up next here? We've got Rock Band Karaoke. That's just a IRL thing, but if you're in the Vancouver area, definitely come and check that out. That's going to be this coming Saturday. Next Saturday, on July 8th, we've got our music online, and that's going to be really exciting. We've got a killer lineup, so definitely stay tuned on socials for that. Anybody else here with any special plugs that they want to do before we sign off? Raise of hand, show of hands. No, nothing's got nothing. No one's got nothing going on. Oh, Saya's got something.
Saya's got someone.
I do. One of the things. So I've been working on a bunch of different things, and just no rest whatsoever. But something I am super proud of is that I recently finished, at least for now, the soundtrack to a roguelite game, my first non-visual novel, that is coming out in, I believe, late August, early September. It's called Rogue Labyrinth. Actually, the main artist on it did the art, all the art for Sunhaven, and it's looking pretty sweet. I'm really happy with it.
Sweet. There's a Steam link for those of you who use Steam in chat. That's great. Jason, we've got one for you.
Yeah. Yes. For those who do not know, Do Better Fest is this Friday, June 30th. It's being thrown on by Joey Z and crew, and they are raising money to benefit Brave Space Alliance, which is a Chicago-based organization that is raising funds for trans youth to help with counseling and providing shelter, food, the essentials when they get kicked out, unfortunately, from their homes. So please consider supporting that, donating, and giving your time and efforts to that. It's a wonderful organization they're supporting, and it's going to be a fun time of all kinds of VGM and nerdcore acts.
Right on. There's a Facebook link in chat there, folks. Yeah, looking at the lineup here, it's really incredible. I see lots of friends and familiar faces on there. Lucas, we had a raised hand from you as well. What's coming up for you?
I'll do just two quick plugs. One is that I have a sax quartet that I also did for DoD that's finally coming to streaming services, hopefully on July 6th, A Chronicle of Evilise. It's a really wonderful, wonderful arrangement, one of my favorites. Like, even before having it on Spotify, I sometimes just have it loop while I'm doing busy work at work. And then I also got, it was a bit delayed because of moving, but I finally got I'm gonna have the first collection of a bunch of my tracks from formerly Materia Collective and a couple of other places. The first compilation of that available on September 8th, which is my birthday. So that should be fun.
That's awesome. Well, happy early birthday to you.
Very early. I think there'll be at least one more GameGrooves stream that I might be on before. But thank you. It's much appreciated.
Awesome. There's the link to Lucas's Spotify in chat if you don't have it yet already. Okay. Any last takers? Any exciting stuff coming up? We got one.
By Score album July 14th.
Yes. Yes. Oh, and we are going to be having a listening party for that here on Bonus Stage as well. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, I should probably finish tracking.
Yeah, do that, please, so that we can.
It's going great. No one needs to know that. Yeah, it coincides also with our performance at MagWest with Ian Cowell and his band of Exceptional Goblins, which has, of course, here Carrie. And we have 5 other people on this. It's going to be a big 7-piece full band experience with drums and bass and guitar and violin and iwi and saxophone and synths and keyboards and backing tracks and Tim Allen grunts. And so, yeah, come hang out with us Friday on the main stage. And I heard there's going to be a Goblin Direct like there was at VGM Con and perhaps some other surprises.
Very nice.
Yeah. Definitely don't want to miss that one, folks. All right. Well, I'm gonna set up a raid. We're gonna sign off here. Thank you again to everybody who came through to chat. It was lovely to see you all here showing your support for Filled with Pride, a LGBTQ plus tribute to Undertale. Thank you so much, Jason, for producing and co-hosting with me tonight, and to all of our wonderful artists. We're gonna see you on the next one. All right, folks. Have a good night.
Night. Bye. Bye.